Welcome to the PowerPoint presentation for the Permanent Local Housing Allocation Program for the 2023 Formula Component Notice of Funding Availability. My name is Jennifer Barajas and I'm an HCD representative on the PLHA team and will be presenting information on the 2023 Nofa and application submission. Information on reaching myself or the team will be shared in a few slides ahead. Thank you for watching. I would like to begin this presentation by sharing additional program resources for this year's Nofa. All additional documents and presentations are located on our program's website under our Resources tab. We have this recorded PowerPoint presentation going over the 2023 Nofa and application submission process. We also recorded an additional PowerPoint presentation specifically for PLHA plan amendments. The team will be offering office hours every Monday until the submission portal closes, between the hours of 10:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. The office hours are intended for applicants to ask questions regarding the 2023 Nofa, PLHA plan amendments, or application. To attend these office hours, applicants must be registered to receive our PLHA e-blast through our listserv. The team will be sending out e-blast every week prior to Monday, and each e-blast will have a unique webinar link. If you have any questions regarding our office hours, please email us through our program inbox. A frequently asked questions document is also available on our webpage. Lastly, you may email your inquiries at any time to the PLHA inbox at plha@hcd.ca.gov. Your questions will be responded upon in a timely manner. Now I would like to take a moment to introduce you to the PLHA team members. We are all under the PDI section, which is Program Design and Implementation, working closely with applicants to submit their applications to the SNOFA and meet all program requirements. The people assisting you are Danielle Cummings, the Program Manager, and the HCD representatives are Tiffany Brown, Stephanie Roos-Fender, Dung Tran, Terry Wright, and myself, Jennifer Barajas. The topics we will be covering in this presentation are General Program Overview, 2020 Allocation Announcement, Important Deadlines, Delegation of Allocation, Eligible Activities, Threshold Requirements, Application Review, Online Submission, and What's Next, what to expect after you submit your application. Please note, this presentation is only regarding the formula component of the PLHA program. There will be another Nofa released for the competitive component of this program. More information regarding the competitive Nofa will be found on our program webpage. General Program Overview. During this section, I'll share about the program's legal authority, reasons the program was established, and funds available. The authority of the program. SB 2 established the PLHA program. The Health and Safety Code operates the program and authorizes the department to allocate 70% of monies collected and deposited in the fund, beginning in calendar year 2019, to local governments for eligible housing projects and programs. The intent of the bill is to provide a permanent, ongoing source of funding to local governments for housing-related projects and programs that assist in addressing the unmet housing needs of their local communities. Lastly, the 2023 Nofa governs the administration of the funding from this fund. The principal goal of this program is to make funding available to eligible local governments in California for housing-related projects and programs that assist in addressing the unmet housing needs of their local communities. With this program funding, cities and counties may increase the supply of housing for households at or below 60% of area median income, facilitate housing affordability, particularly for lower and moderate income households, up to 120% AMI or 150% AMI in high-cost areas, increase assistance to affordable owner-occupied workforce housing, assist persons experiencing or at risk of homelessness, home ownership opportunities, including but not limited to a down payment assistance program. The department is pleased to announce the release of the 2023 Formula Component Nofa for approximately $296 million. Please see the Appendix A for your city's or county's new 2022 allocation. 2020 Allocation Announcement. The program guidelines only allow applicants to apply for the current and 2 previous funding allocations. Applicants who don't apply for their 2020 allocations during this open Nofa period are at risk of losing their 2020 allocation. This is the last chance to apply and receive the 2020 funds. Any 2020 allocations that are not applied for in this round will be reverted to the MHP program. New applicants have until February 29, 2024 to submit their application and be in compliance with their housing element to successfully receive their 2020 allocation. If applicants are not in compliance with their housing elements but submit an application, are still at risk of losing their 2020 funds, because housing element compliance is part of the program's threshold requirements and must be met before the deadline. Grantees have until June 30, 2024 to submit a plan amendment for their 2020 allocations. The earlier the amendment request is submitted, the better, for both program and state grant management to work with the grantee and receive all required documentation in time. These amendments are not guaranteed to receive approval from program if required documentation and submission of their request is not submitted in a timely manner. We urge you to submit these plan amendments as early as possible. Important deadlines. This Nofa will remain open to eligible applicants through June 30, 2027. The Nofa will be augmented with additional calendar year funds as additional revenues are collected and made available. All applicants must ensure they meet all threshold requirements outlined in this Nofa and program guidelines prior to the submittal of an application. Information about our online submission portal will be posted on our program website. Please refer to our Nofa for our portal's start and end dates. This chart shows the important deadlines for each allocation year. The first column shows the funding allocation year. The second column shows the application deadline for expiring funds. The third column shows when the 5-year plan amendments should be turned in by to be reviewed and approved in a timely manner. The last column shows the deadline of when funds must be requested by. Our program grantees work closely with our state grant management team to meet these specific requirements. If you have specific funding questions, please email SGM at their inbox, which is plhasgm@hcd.ca.gov. All applicants applying for or already having their 2020 allocation funds must request their funds by April 30, 2025. Any first-time applicants must apply for their 2020 allocation during this open Nofa period or risk losing them. If you have any questions regarding these dates, please email the PDI team's main inbox, which is plha@hcd.ca.gov. Delegation of allocation. When a jurisdiction is eligible to receive an allocation but they do not want to manage the allocation, they can delegate the entire allocation to another eligible local government or to a local or regional housing trust fund to manage and take responsibility for the allocation. For further details, please refer to our Nofa or Program Guidelines section 300C and 300D. Eligible activities. The PLHA program requires that funds be spent on one or more of the 10 eligible activities listed in the Program Guidelines, Article 3, Section 301. Please refer to the Program Guidelines section for further details regarding eligible activities. 20% of the monies in the fund is required by statute to be expended for affordable owner-occupied workforce housing. If funding proposed in local government plans for AOWH is lower than 20%, the department may require local governments to use a specific percentage of their annual formula allocations in some future year. Activities number 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10 can serve households with incomes above 60% AMI. Activities 5 and 6 are restricted to those with an AMI of 30% and lower. The next slides will discuss our program's threshold requirements for both first-time applicants and previous grantees. The team would like to emphasize that during this ongoing Nofa until the year 2027, applications that do not meet the threshold requirements will receive a failed threshold letter and will need to resubmit an entire new application for reconsideration. First-time applicants and grantees requesting their 2020 allocations have until February 29, 2024 to be in compliance with their housing element and their annual progress report. Both must have an adopted housing element that has been found by the department to be in substantial compliance with the requirements of Article 10.6 of Chapter 3 of Division 1 of Title 7 of the Government Code, pursuant to Government Code Section 65585 at the time of application. Please see Appendix C for further information regarding these two requirements. If a local government is requesting 2020 funds, they must apply no later than February 29, 2024 and demonstrate they have met all threshold requirements, including housing element compliance and APR submittal to avoid reversion. If an applicant is applying on behalf of multiple jurisdictions or delegating or subgranting to another entity, the funds may only be awarded for use in a locality that is compliant with its adopted housing element and APR requirements. Applicants applying for 2020 funds should apply as early as possible to provide time for threshold requirements to be met. Both new applicants and grantees must submit a complete and full application. There will be two different applications available on our website, one for new applicants and one for previous grantees. Specifically for new applicants, they must submit a complete application and authorizing resolution. Grantees who are applying solely for their 2022 allocation must submit a complete streamlined application for returning applicants. Any application notified they did not pass threshold will have the opportunity to submit the necessary documentation to demonstrate threshold eligibility. However, they have until the applicable deadline to submit the necessary documentation. Specific certifications in the resolution are only applicable for specific activities. We encourage all applicants to use a resolution template. If you have questions regarding a resolution template, please contact the PDI team. New applicants will need to complete and submit with their application their PLHA plan. More detailed information regarding the creation of this plan is found in our 2023 Nofa under Threshold Requirements for First-Time Applicants and our PLHA Guidelines Section 302. If you are a grantee and want to amend your plan, we have an additional PowerPoint presentation solely covering plan amendments. You may find that PowerPoint under our Resources tab. If any activity in the 5-year PLHA plan consists of loans being made to a homebuyer, homeowner, developer, or owner of a project, a program income reuse plan is required to be submitted with your application. A program income reuse plan must describe how repaid PLHA loans will be used for eligible program activities, as specified in Section 301. If the account earns interest, the reuse plan must also describe how interest earned from PLHA funds deposited will be used for eligible program activities. If threshold is not met, the applicant contact and listed authorized representative will receive a failed threshold letter by their PLHA PDI representative. The threshold letter will list the items the applicant has to correct to meet the threshold requirement before resubmittal of their application. A PDI representative will be assigned to you, and they will work closely with you to meet all threshold requirements. Please use active email accounts that you check regularly. Majority of our communications will be through email. Please note that previous grantees will be subject to Guidelines Section 300E and Section 502 for this round. This means that an applicant will not be eligible to receive their new 2022 allocation if they have uncommitted PLHA funds. For further detailed information, please refer to our Program Guidelines Section 300E and Section 502. The streamlined application will ask how much of the previous award has been committed. Next, I'll go over the two different types of applications for this Nofa. Our 2023 Nofa has two types of applications. We have one for first-time applicants and one for previous grantees, referred to as a streamlined application for returning applicants. Under our Apply Now tab, you may also find our link to our online submission portal. Let's go over the application for new applicants. For new applicants, the PLHA Formula Allocation application includes two tabs that need to be filled out and one application support tab. The first tab you will complete is titled Formula Allocation Application. On this tab, you will select the eligible applicant type, entitlement or non-entitlement, from the drop-down list, and then select the name of the local government from whom you are applying. Once you have made these selections, the allocation amounts available by Nofa year will auto-populate, along with the allowable 5% admin amounts. Next, you will select either yes or no for admin requested on that year's allocation. Next, you will complete the eligible applicants section where you will enter the name of the jurisdiction applying for the allocation and the contact information for the authorized representative and an additional application contact. Next, you will answer whether the applicant is acting as a delegate on behalf of another jurisdiction and certify that all public notice comments and hearing requirements were adhered to, and if applicable, have a legally binding agreement for the delegation, as well as answering if you have uploaded the adopted resolution, government TIN form, and if applicable, the delegation agreement to our online portal. The next section to fill out is the eligible activities section. In this section, you will select all activities you will be doing over the 5-year cycle. As you select the activities on the formula allocation page, additional tabs will automatically open on the 302C4 Plan tab based on the activities you indicated you will be doing. You will also complete the threshold requirements section. Here you will be certifying that you are an eligible applicant who has housing element compliance, submitted an APR for the current or prior year, resolution requirements have been met, and that a reuse plan has been submitted if applicable to the activities chosen. The last section for this tab, you will fill out the administration and certification sections where you will be agreeing to the department's requirements for the administration of PLHA funds and signing off on the application submission. The next required tab to fill out is the 302C4 Plan tab. New applicants are required to use this plan template provided. The first few questions ask for descriptions based on the activity selected. You must be detailed enough for both program and SGM to understand how you will be prioritizing investments that increase housing supply for households with incomes at or below 60% AMI, and how your plan is consistent with the programs set forth in the local government's housing element. Next, you will complete the activities detail section for each of your selected activities. You should be providing a detailed account of how funds will be used for each activity and filling in the chart for each activity by selecting the allocation years, sub-activity, percentage of funds allocated for the activity by year, area median income served, regional housing needs allocation number, if applicable, number of households served over the 5-year period, and the period of affordability, if applicable. Additionally, you will provide a description of major steps, actions, as well as a proposed schedule for the implementation and completion of each activity. For activities 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, or 10, you will need to enter the percentage of funds from that activity being allocated for affordable owner-occupied workforce housing. This information is used for the AOWH program requirement, and it will remain red until filled in with a percentage. If it is 0, please enter 0. Last comment regarding the plan tab. Please make sure when completing the plan that the percentage of funds allocated for each year adds up to 100%. For example, if you are doing activities 2, 6, and 9 for your 2022 allocation, 40% will go towards activity 2, 40% towards activity 6, and 15% towards activity 9. And 5% for admin. This equals 100% of the 2022 allocation being allocated. First-time applicants will be expected to submit a government TIN form. When it comes to the government TIN form, please make sure that the principal government agency name has city of or county of in the applicant's name. The only exceptions are the jurisdictions that don't have their name filed in that way. The name in this TIN form must also match exactly how the name was listed in the resolution. If the applicant would like the check sent to a sub-department, please include the name and address of the sub-department in the remit to address portion of the form. Also, list this sub-department in the subsidiary departments portion in the middle of the form. But if the checks are not sent to a sub-department, please leave this middle portion of the form blank and only include the address of the agency in the remit to portion. Make sure to complete the federal employer identification number, and remember to sign the form before submitting. Electronic signatures are okay. Now I will be going over the streamlined application for returning applicants, also known as grantees. There will be one required tab and one if applicable tab and one application support tab. The first tab to fill out is the formula allocation application. Applicants will answer if they have previously been awarded, which allocation will they be applying for during this Nofa, if they are entitlement or non-entitlement, name of local government recipient, and if they are requesting funds for admin costs. Grantees will also have to answer how much they have already committed. If the commitment amount is insufficient to meet the requirement based on prior awards, the application field will turn red. Next, you will complete the eligible applicant section, where you will enter the name of the jurisdiction applying for the allocation, as well as the contact information for the authorized representative and application contact. Then you will complete the threshold requirements section. Here you will be certifying that you are an eligible applicant who has housing element compliance, submitted an APR for the current or prior year, that the submission of the application was authorized by the applicant's governing board, certifying that the originally submitted plan has not been altered by a change in activities or 10% of funds. That applicant meets the requirements of 300E. The PLHA annual report has been submitted, and if applicable, a reuse plan has been submitted. The authorized representative will then complete the certification section by signing that the application is true and correct. Please note, the authorized representative who signs must be the same person or in the position that was authorized on the original resolution that was submitted. If the original resolution lists the name and position of the authorized representative and they are no longer in that position, a new resolution must be obtained and a new authorized representative approved. This tab is new and only applicable to urban counties who will be sharing their PLHA allocations with eligible cities. For further details regarding urban county jurisdictions, please see Appendix E in our Nofa. Lastly, each application has an application support tab. This tab is intended for the applicant to fill out with any issues they encounter when they are filling out their application. It's more of a technical issues tab, not specifically related to program questions. For example, if the applicant is trying to select their city under the Eligible Applicant Type section, and when they make the selection, but the allocation amounts don't appear, this is considered a technical glitch. Please be sure to include all specific information for the location of the error and the level of urgency. Then submit the completed form to the App Support inbox and PLHA inbox. Some application tips. Please do not copy and paste into cells. This often results in mistakes and can also disrupt the flow of the Excel document. Complete the tabs in order. Certain tabs are linked and some selections often open other cells in the same tab or another tab. Applications must be on the department's forms and cannot be altered or modified in any way. Please do not submit your application via Apple products. Our required forms do not translate to the Apple equivalent smoothly. Please confirm the application signatory is an authorized signer per the applicant's resolution. If the resolution states the authorized person or their designee, then that means either the authorized person or designee may complete and sign the application. If a designee is signing, please include an official letter and upload with your application. Make sure you are submitting the most recent application version from the PLHA website. Please refer to previous slide for official application name for the 2023 Nofa. The tax identification number must match the applicant's name. Please ensure this information is accurate before submission. Failure to do this may delay your review. The next slides will go over our online submission process. PLHA applications must be submitted through our online submission portal. To reach our portal, visit our program website, click on our Apply Now header, then click on Portal to Apply Now formula. If you run into problems while submitting your application, please submit your questions to the PLHA inbox for assistance. The online submission portal will remain open until June 30, 2027. Applicants may submit their applications based on the application deadline for the allocation. Applicants who have not requested their 2020 allocations have until February 29, 2024 to submit their application. Our new 2023 Nofa released the 2021 allocations, so applicants have until February 28, 2025 to submit their application. Information regarding deadlines for plan amendments may be found in our Plan Amendment PowerPoint, also saved under our Resources tab. What's next after you submit your application? Once we receive applications through the portal, the PDI team will review and ensure that threshold requirements have been met. If the applicant passes threshold, we then begin the process of awarding the applicant their allocations and will receive an award letter via email. After award, the next email you should expect from the department should be from the contract analyst. After award, PDI creates and reviews your new standard agreement. Once the new standard agreement is ready for your signature, our department's contract unit will send a draft pending agreement to the authorized representative and application contact for their review and signature. Once the authorized representative signs the contract and then the contract analyst finalizes the execution of a standard agreement, the applicant may now request their funds from our department's state grant management team. After execution of your standard agreement, an SGM representative will email you and you will work one-on-one with your SGM representative. Please be advised, the PLHA program is an advancement program, not a reimbursement program. No costs incurred more than 1 year prior to commitment by the local government may be paid from PLHA funds. Please refer to our guidelines section 304 for further details. SGM recommends that each grantee request their allocation before spending it. To limit the number of requests and the time to process, each grantee should request their full allocation or full activity amount as stated in the Standard Agreement Exhibit B 4C. Prior to disbursement, grantees must provide supporting documentation as proof of commitment of funds. The department must review and approve supporting documents which support the use of PLHA funds. After execution of your standard agreement, your allocation is available to commit the funds to an eligible project. You may reach the Department's State Grant Management PLHA team at plhasgm@hcd.ca.gov. Also, by clicking on the Reporting and Compliance header available on our program website, you can locate all the reporting documents you need. For example, you may find the PLHA Request for Funds form here. Any questions regarding this form or any questions regarding how to access your funds should be sent to SGM. Grantees are required to follow the reporting guidelines in Section 503. Each grantee must submit an annual PLHA report which shall document the uses and expenditures of all awarded allocations and outcomes achieved. This report is due by July 31st of each year and submitted to the SGM team. First-time applicants will not be required to fulfill this in the year they apply. For example, if a first-time applicant applies in January 2024, they do not have to submit this PLHA annual report on July 31st, 2024, but they will have to submit the annual report on July 31st, 2025. This is now the end of the presentation, and here are some resourceful links from this program. You can sign up to be on our listserv and receive PLHA program updates. We highly recommend signing up this year. As previously mentioned in the beginning of this presentation, we will be sending out e-blast with our office hours webinar links, and each week will have a unique link. You also have the option to follow HCD on social media, which is a great way to stay informed on programs and updates. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions regarding this Nofa or program deadlines, threshold requirements, applications, email the PDI team at plha@hcd.ca.gov. Have a great day.